First, I want to say happy birthday to Wendy Williams. Um, I believe it is her 59th birthday yesterday, July 18th. She is, I listen to the Wendy Williams Experience, her radio show on YouTube all the time. Hilarious, insightful, funny, all the above. The only thing that really bothers me about this Wendy Williams situation is that nobody was there to protect her from herself, protect her from her husband's greedy ways. Like her husband wasn't even there to protect her. He's just greedy. Her son, her son shouldn't have to protect her, but I guess if I was in his situation and I understood, or maybe he wasn't privy to the information. I don't know. It's very difficult, but it's just like It's unfortunate that Wendy's not, in the public giving herself like she normally does. And I'm not saying that she has to, but I feel like there were still some more viable years in her, and maybe she's content, maybe she's happy. Not, I don't know. It's a confusing and speculatory situation that I don't want to go down. But happy birthday to Wendy Williams. We absolutely adore Wendy. Um, it is just heartbreaking to see like how frail she looks, and and I think her son opened up a music studio, a recording studio in Miami, because I believe there was a picture recently that they took together, which was nice. But it's also like, damn. Okay. What did I want to talk about? Kelly Rowland, right? Kelly gets so much backlash for talking about Beyonce. And I don't know if it was like the trolls just trolling or people actually feeling this way. And she recently went on a podcast talking about my biggest F ups. And I was with a guy she knew, and he's a music producer or a writer, and he worked with her on her first album. So it's like there's some relationship, um, as Kim Burrell says. There's a relationship there. There's some relationship. Is that what you said? Relationship, something like that. Kim Burrell. Um, there's something there. So it was talking to a friend. So I guess she's definitely a little bit more open. You can cuss on the podcast. It was a little fun. It was a good listen. It was a really good listen. But she talked about how like Blue. She revealed that Beyonce was having a girl when she was pregnant with Blue, and she was just like, she definitely learned her lesson, because she was like, this is not my. It wasn't my news to tell. And so from then on, I believe she's been very cautious about what she says about Beyonce. Even when she asked about Beyonce, she kind of diverts the answer over to another person or situation, makes it general. And so I'm just like, I feel like the people, I got it. I think this is what I just had, the epiphany. People think she's living in Beyonce's shadow. And that's what the most of the comments were. Like, she's living in Beyonce's shadow. When is she going to stop talking about Beyonce? You guys, the media does it. And I think the media only does it because Beyonce isn't open anymore. She's very private. She doesn't do like interviews like Kelly and Michelle does. So first of all, they're Kelly and Michelle of Destiny's Child. And then secondly, Kelly definitely is going to be compared to Beyonce all the time because the media does it. The media doesn't let her be her own person, even though she does interviews. She shares her own family. She talks about her sex life. She has 4 or 5 albums of great music. And back to the music, Kelly Rowland did this Ghirardelli reopening. She was at the Ghirardelli reopening in San Francisco. So on the Ghirardelli, she looked beautiful. She looked absolutely beautiful. Kelly always looks beautiful. She always has her hair done. The only time I did not like Kelly Rowland's hair was the early Destiny Child days. No, 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 no. The mid Destiny Child days, the Survivor days. Like in between the writings and Survivor. You talking about the ugliest hairstyle? I'm sorry, Kelly. I'm sorry. That's the cramp. That's the ugliest hairstyle ever. The Independent Woman video. Oh my. Like it's okay, but it's like she's had bad worse moments. But Kelly's hair is always done. Kelly's skin is beautiful. Kelly looks incredible. She's taking really good care of herself. I'm happy for Kelly. Um, but they were just playing a bunch of Destiny Child on the Ghirardelli Instagram. They played a bunch of Destiny Child music and then two of like Kelly songs. And like Kelly has 4 albums of incredible music. But you're only playing, and it's just like, it's this thing. It's this Destiny Child thing. We love Destiny Child, yes, but Kelly has great music on her own, a great voice on her own. I barely remember her talking about Blue. I barely remember it, but I guess it was such a big thing. Maybe because even now I'm like, who cares about a gender reveal? Like y'all hiding these gender reveals in for like what? For what? The baby isn't even here. Who cares? And then Miss Tina, she's always talking about Beyonce. So I'm just like, what's the difference? Miss Tina could talk about Beyonce. Miss Tina still works with Beyonce. She's credited as a stylist on this Renaissance tour. So I'm just like, what's the difference? Because she's the mother. And Miss Tina talks. Okay. Miss Tina talks. She just talked about Blue and how she only had like a week to rehearse. So I'm just like, Rosita talks. And how Beyonce is on tour and she's happy to be back on tour. Rosita is talking. Maybe Beyonce doesn't want to talk. It's funny because I kind of do connect with Beyonce on a certain level, like kind of being reserved. I definitely don't talk a lot and people think I'm weird, whatever. Um, I'm not giving you a whole lot of emotion. I'm just here to, especially at work. Like I'm just here to do my job, and I'm here to go home. I'm not here to like really make friends. Sometimes it makes me feel away. Like I'm not as open with a lot of the people at work. But I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that. But anyways, I kind of do connect with her. Like even like Beyonce, like speaking at her shows, she kind of maybe her nerves are taking over, and it's just it's a connection I feel with her. Not only being like a Virgo, but I feel her. I understand, and it's funny. It's funny to I think it's just articulating what is in your head, speaking it, articulating it out, kind of jumbles me up a lot. So I kind of feel like I sound like a fool. But anyways, even on this podcast, I'm just like, oh, here I go, rambling fool. I'm just a rambling fool. The book. I want Kelly Rowland to write a book. She told a lot. And I kind of want to ask Kelly about her relationship with Matthew. And you know what? I forgot. I thought Kelly recently, I thought it was after Talk a Good Game that Kelly was dropped from Sony. But she said she was dropped from Sony after Miss Kelly. And I was like, wait, what? And it's funny because she was dropped from Miss Kelly she was dropped from Sony, and they were like, she's no good for us anymore, and she played it off as it was, a mutual thing. But then she was actually saying, I was actually dropped, and it was hurtful. I was reading back some articles, but it's funny. After Miss Kelly was Here I Am, and Here I Am gave her like a really successful album and her #1 motivation. Isn't that funny, you guys? But I thought she was dropped after Talk a Good Game, but I guess she just switched labels again after Talk a Good Game. Because here I am and Talk a Good Game have two separate labels, which is very interesting. She talked about her her being a mother, being a wife, being dropped from the label. I want to know, does she feel, and this goes again with Matthew, Kelly, if you're listening, do you feel that Latavia and Latoya were correct in their wanting separate management? Nobody asked her, and I feel like it might be slightly inappropriate to ask her because it's kind of going against family and her best friend's father in a sense. But I'm like, I want to know what her perspective is because I feel like she's the only one that's going to give us, she's the only one, other than the other lady, who's not going to talk about it. That's the real question I want to know. Does she feel that they were correct? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Latavia and Latoya were correct in wanting new management because of certain financial and other treatments that they were experiencing? I think I wrote that down. Ghirardelli. Does that say Ghirardelli, you guys? A Backlash. I want a book because I want to know just like little details. And I feel like she has a really good book to tell us. Maybe I just need to call her and ask her. Anyways, so Aretha Franklin. The will. So Aretha Franklin had two wills, right? Her first of all, her children are not getting along. It's one child that has a separate father than the other three, I think. Is it three fathers? Okay, one of them has a separate father than the others, and I think it's the actor's father. The actor, his father is the actor. There was a will in like 2010, I think it said, that there was an official will. So he wants to go off of that will, which gives him more content of everything else. It gives him more, what's the word? Reign of everything else. Then there was another will that gives the younger kids and the other separate father children reign of most of everything else. I believe that's how it's going. First of all, in the 2010 will, Aretha said, if you want the house and if you want control of the estate, you have to go. These two kids have to go to business school. Okay, I'm not laughing as much as I was when I first read it, but it's hilarious and it's very shady. So I'm like, okay, was that a conversation that they had? And then she just decided to like renege. Oh, the second will that they found was in the cushion of the couch, right? So they went to court to figure out which will was going to be withheld in the estate trial or whatever. So they end up going with the cushion will. Where they found a bunch of other stuff too, I think, like a bunch of other documents, which is funny. But yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know that, she said, y'all got to go to business school if you want this estate and this house, which is hilarious. But shout out to Aretha Franklin, still being shady, even to her own people. Thank you so much for listening to the Dare Show podcast. Let me know what you thought about what I talked about, and I'm so thankful and for everybody that listens, and even if you're listening, watching the old Patti LaBelle videos. Shout out to Patti. Her Zuri, her son's 50th birthday was recently, and I was like, "What's going on?" Because I saw these. I was on her tagged on Instagram, and I saw like a party, but I wasn't sure what it was for. It was a cute party. It was like a beige party. I was like, I wasn't sure what it was for. I saw like vendors and food, pizza, Philly food. It just looked really, really delicious. And it was Zuri's party. So shout out to Pay the Bill. Shout out to Aretha Franklin. Shout out to Zuri. Happy birthday. Shout out to Wendy Williams. Happy birthday. Thank you for listening. It's the Dare Show podcast. I'll be back later.